Okay, so this is day 2 of my vlog, my French learning. Started a bit late this morning because I wanted to get some stuff out of the way. So it's 11 o'clock French time. I'm going to be doing me and her direct object pronouns. So I'm continuing my usual program. However, there are moments where I will go back to certain topics which I did before to be sure that they stick, in other words, or if I need a review or something like that. So today, again, I'm doing me and her direct object pronouns. So I'll go through the entire lesson like I did yesterday, and yeah. So hopefully somebody sees this and it can help, and also it helps me keep myself accountable. Bonjour, welcome back to another language and culture lesson. We use pronouns, words like I and he, to avoid repeating ourselves too much while we speak. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about a specific type of pronoun in French, the direct object pronoun. I'll let you say things like him, it'll let you say things like him and us without a preposition, and will make your sentences sound much more natural. Understanding direct object pronouns. You already know a number of pronouns in French. In fact, we've covered two types. Subject pronouns like je, tu, and il, which are used as a subject of the sentence, i.e. the person or thing doing the action, and emphatic pronouns like moi, toi, and lui, which come after prepositions and are sometimes used for emphasis. The whole point of pronouns in general is to take the place of nouns. This is so that you don't have to keep repeating the same noun multiple times in a sentence. Let's take the following sentence as an example. The man doesn't work because the man is sick. This is pretty repetitive. We can make it sound more natural by replacing the second use of the man with the pronoun he. The man doesn't work because he is sick. Easy, right? The types of pronouns we're going to be talking about in this lesson are called direct object pronouns. That might sound complex, but it just means that these people or things are directly receiving the action in the sentence. That is, the action is happening directly to them, and there isn't a preposition involved. Let's look at an example of this. In this sentence, the cat ate the mouse. The cat is the one doing the action. So that means that it's the subject. The action is the verb ate. So what was directly receiving the action? Or more simply put, what was eaten? The answer is the mouse. This means that the mouse is a direct object. If you wanted to replace the direct object noun with a pronoun, you would say the cat ate it. Okay, that didn't register. Let's look at an example of this. In the sentence, the cat ate the mouse. The cat is the one doing the action, so that means that it's the subject. The action is the verb, okay, ate. So what was directly receiving the action, or more simply put, what was eaten? The answer is the mouse. This means that the mouse is a direct object. If you wanted to replace the direct object noun with a pronoun, you will say the cat ate it, okay. In French, the construction of direct object pronouns is a bit different from English. Let's get started by looking at the French direct object pronouns. So we have singular direct object pronouns. First pronoun, me. In French, in English, it's me. Second object pronoun is te. In English, it's you. The third object pronoun is le. In English, it's him/it. And the last object pronoun is la, which is her in English /it. So let's get the pronunciation.
Me,
Me. I said me. Me.
te,
Te.
le,
Le.
la,
La. So me, te, le, la. Me, me. Te, you. Le, him/it. La, her/it. Me, te, le, la. So that is the singular direct object pronouns. Plural direct object pronouns. We have nous, us, vous, you, formal/plural, and we have les, them.
nous,
Nous,
vous,
vous,
les,
les, nous, vous, les, which is us, you, them. So we have from the top singular, then the plural. So we have me, te, le, la, me, you, him, her. Nous, vous, les. Us, you, them. The most familiar pronouns here will of course be the trusty nous, which is us, and vous, which is you, formal / plural. The rest though just have to be memorized, but it should help that the pronouns for him, her, and them are the same as the definite articles de. So him is le, her, la, and them is les. Okay, makes sense. Direct object pronouns in use. Let's take some sentences and replace the direct object nouns with direct object pronouns. As we do so, notice that the direct object pronoun is placed before the verb instead of after it. We've made the direct objects bold in the first couple of sentences so they're easier to see. Marie fait la lessive. Marie fait la lessive. So I will say the sentence the way I think it's supposed to be said, and then I will play the pronunciation afterwards, and then I will do my recording. So Marie fait la lessive. Marie fait la lessive. Lessive.
Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive, which is Marie is doing the laundry. Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive. Let's try to record myself. Marie fait la lessive. Okay.
Marie fait la lessive.
La lessive. Marie fait la lessive. Marie fait la lessive. Okay.
Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive. Marie fait la lessive. Okay, Marie is doing the laundry. Marie fait la lessive. Marie l'a fait, which is Marie is doing it.
Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait. Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait. Marie l'a fait. Marie is doing it. Il dit les mots. Il dit les mots.
Il dit les mots.
Il dit les mots. He says the words. Il dit les mots. Okay. He says the words is il dit les mots.
Il dit les mots.
Let's hear my pronunciation. Il dit les mots. Okay. Il les dit. He said them.
Il les dit.
Il les dit. Il les dit. I need to say that again. Il les dit. It's coming up as il est dit. Il les. Il les dit.
Il les dit.
Il les dit. Il les dit. Okay, I'll say it like that. Il les dit. Good. Il les dit. Il les dit. Il les dit. He said them. Okay. So let's see some more full sentence examples with these direct object pronouns. So, elle aide la dame à trouver son hôtel. Elle aide la dame à trouver son hôtel.
Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel.
Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. They are helping the lady to find her hotel. Is elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. Okay.
Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel.
Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. Elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. They are helping the lady to find her hotel. And in this sentence, the direct object pronoun would be la. So, elles aident la dame à trouver son hôtel. Next sentence. Elles. Elle l'aide. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. They are helping her to find her hotel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. I need to do that again because it's not registering properly. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Much better. Let me see.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Pronunciation is not bad. Oh, this one is going to be hard. J'aime plus ton stylo. I think this is wrong. J'aime plus ton stylo.
J'emprunte ton stylo.
J'emprunte ton stylo. I know that's wrong. J'emprunte ton stylo. I am borrowing your pen et j'emprunte ton stylo.
J'emprunte ton stylo.
J'emprunte ton stylo. Okay. J'emprunte ton stylo. I'm borrowing your pen.
J'emprunte ton stylo.
Let's listen to my pronunciation. J'emprunte ton stylo. C'est not bad at all. J'emprunte ton stylo. I am borrowing your pen. J'emprunte ton stylo. Okay. Next sentence. Je le prends. Je le prends. Je le prends.
Je l'emprunte.
Ooh, je l'emprunte. I butchered that. Je l'emprunte. I am borrowing it. So in the first sentence we had j'emprunte ton stylo. I'm borrowing your pen. And instead of saying repeating stylo, we're saying j'emprunte. No.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte. Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte. Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte. Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte.
Okay. Let's try again. Je l'emprunte. Not bad. Je l'emprunte. So I really try to ensure that I get the pronunciation correct because I want to be understood. And sometimes you might be saying the word, you think you might be saying the right word, you think you might be saying the word in the right way, but a little nuance in the pronunciation could definitely put authentic French speaker off or a native French speaker off because they don't quite understand. So I work a lot on my pronunciation. So, je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte. Try to get it as close as possible. Je l'emprunte. I don't think that's bad. I am borrowing it. Next sentence. Nous connaissons la vérité. We know the truth. Nous connaissons la vérité. Nous connaissons la vérité.
Nous connaissons la vérité.
Nous connaissons la vérité. Nous connaissons la vérité. Okay.
Nous connaissons la vérité.
Nous connaissons la vérité. Nous connaissons la vérité. Nous connaissons la vérité is we know the truth. Nous la connaissons. Nous la connaissons. Nous la connaissons. We know it.
Nous la connaissons.
Nous la connaissons. We know it. Okay.
Nous la connaissons.
Nous la connaissons. Nous la connaissons. On a son chat. We have her cat. On a son chat.
On a son chat.
On a son chat. On a son chat. On a son chat. Okay, that one was pretty easy.
On a son chat.
On a son chat. On a son chat. We have her cat. On l'a.
On l'a.
On l'a.
On l'a.
On l'a. We have it. On l'a, which translates to we have it. And if I'm not being clear, each sentence is connected to the sentence before. So, for example, we have her cat. We're changing that to we have it because we're using the direct object pronouns in this series of sentences. You know. So on On a son chat is we have her cat. And to say we have it, we would say on l'a. On l'a.
On l'a.
On l'a. On l'a. Okay, I could do that a bit better. On l'a. On l'a. Okay. On l'a.
On l'a.
On l'a. On l'a. On l'a. Let me see if I can say it faster. On l'a. The first part is registering, but if I think I need to slow it down to say it so it could register in the application. On l'a. Et voilà, it registered. Next sentence. Je cherche les enfants. I'm looking for the children. Je cherche les enfants.
Je cherche les enfants.
Je cherche les enfants. A bit more stretch on the cherche. Je cherche les enfants. Je cherche les enfants.
Je cherche les enfants.
Je cherche les enfants. Je cherche les enfants. I'm looking for the children. Let me try to say it. Je cherche les enfants. Registered immediately.
Je cherche les enfants.
Je cherche les enfants. Je cherche les enfants. Not bad. Je les cherche. Je les cherche. I'm looking for them. Je les cherche. So I'm looking for them is je les cherche.
Je les cherche.
Je les cherche. Je les cherche. I need to do that over. Je les cherche.
Je les cherche.
Je les. Let's try that again. Je les cherche. That was wrong. Je les cherche.
Je les cherche.
Je les cherche. I want to do it one more time. Je les cherche. Registered. Good pronunciation. Let's listen.
Je les cherche.
One more time. Je les cherche. Je les cherche. Okay. I'm looking for them. So, now let's move on to getting some practice with first and second person pronouns. That just means talking about ourselves or talking directly to other people. So, mes amis m'attendent. Mes amis m'attendent. My friends are waiting for me.
Mes amis m'attendent.
Mes amis m'attendent. Mes amis m'attendent. My friends are waiting for me is mes amis m'attendent. My friends are waiting for me. Mes amis m'attendent. Another phrase. Je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime, which translates to I love you. Je t'aime. Je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime. Let's play that again. Je t'aime. Je t'aime. Okay. Il nous écoute.
Il nous écoute.
Il nous écoute. And the reason we do la liaison there because écoute starts with a vowel, E. So we must do the la liaison between those two words. So, il nous écoute.
Il nous écoute.
So the S becomes pronouns. So, il nous écoute. Il nous écoute. So, il nous écoute translates to he listens to us. Next sentence. On vous admire. On vous admire. On vous admire.
On vous admire.
Wow. On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire. People admire you. On vous admire. On vous admire. Not bad.
On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire. I want to try to say it a bit closer to the pronunciation. On vous admire. On vous admire. Let's listen again. On vous admire. On vous admire. Which translates to people admire you. Preposition differences with English. There are a few verbs out there that are followed by a preposition in English, but not in French. This means that these verbs don't take direct objects in English, but they do in French. You've already seen some of them in this lesson, such as chercher, to look for, and écouter, to listen, or to listen to. The English versions of these verbs must always have a preposition between them and their object. Example, look for him, listen to me, which is a solid indicator that they are not followed by a direct object. In French, though, these verbs aren't followed by a preposition, and so they do take direct objects and work with the direct object pronouns that you've just learned. I need to read that again. In French, though, these verbs aren't followed by a preposition, and so they do take direct objects and work with the direct object pronouns that you've just learned. There aren't too many verbs like this to worry about, but it's worth taking note of them as you come across them. Below is a list of some of the most common ones to watch out for. You should already recognize most of them by now. Okay, sentence. To look for something or someone. In French, it's chercher quelque chose en quelqu'un. Chercher quelque chose en quelqu'un. No, chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un. That's here.
Chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Okay, chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un. To look for something or someone, chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Let's say it. Chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay.
Chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Listen to my pronunciation. Chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un. To look for something or someone, chercher quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay, next sentence. To wait for something or someone. Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Attendre ou quelqu'un. No, wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Let's go again. Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Let's listen to my pronunciation. Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un. I can say that better. Let's try again. Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Trying to get it to flow as naturally out of my mouth as possible. Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un. To wait for something or someone. Attendre quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay. Next sentence. Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un. To listen to something or someone. Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Let's go. Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay. Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un. To listen to something or someone is écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un. There's a stress on the shows, which I'm not doing, which it should be écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Let's listen.
Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Écouter quelque chose ou quelqu'un, which is to listen to something or someone. Next sentence. Demander quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Let me try to say it. Demander quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay.
Demander quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Let's listen to my pronunciation. Demander quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Demander quelque chose ou quelqu'un, which is to ask for something or someone. Last sentence. Regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un. To look for something or someone.
Regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un.
Regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Let's listen to my pronunciation. Regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay. Regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un, to look for something or someone. All right. Notice how the English verbs all need a preposition to, for, or at. To, for, or at. while the French verbs don't have any preposition after them. Okay. So you don't have to say regarder à quelque chose ou quelqu'un. Okay. You just say regarder quelque chose ou quelqu'un because the verb is regarder. Quelque chose is the subject. Quelqu'un. Pronunciation and direct object pronouns. Now let's take a moment to talk about pronunciation. You already know that la liaison has to occur between pronouns and verbs. So it shouldn't be a big surprise to hear it between the direct object pronouns and the verbs in the sentences like these. On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire. I saying admire. On vous admire. People admire you. On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire.
Stressing a bit. On vous. I need to cut it. So like, on vous admire. Let's try it again. On vous admire. I'll try it one more time. On vous admire. Let's listen.
On vous admire.
On vous admire.
On vous admire. On vous admire.
He's stressing on the admire. On vous admire. I want to try it one more time. On vous admire. Let's listen.
On vous admire. On vous admire.
On vous admire. On vous admire. On vous admire. Okay. On vous admire. Okay, much better.
On vous admire. On vous admire.
On vous admire. Okay. Okay, the next sentence is il nous écoute. Il nous écoute.
Il nous écoute.
Il nous écoute. Il nous écoute. So il nous écoute translates to he listens to us. Il nous écoute. He listens to us. Let's listen to my pronunciation and match it with what the guy said.
Il nous écoute.
Okay, my pronunciation.
Il nous écoute.
Il nous écoute. It also shouldn't come back as a shock to learn that the pronouns le, him, it, and la, her undergo l'élision when they come before a vowel sound, turning into L apostrophe. Just like the definite article le, the, and la, the feminine, do. And the same thing happens with the pronouns me and me, which means me. No, me, which means me, and te, which means you. They become m apostrophe, m apostrophe, and t apostrophe. Let's run that over again. It also shouldn't come as a shock to learn that the pronouns le, him, it, and la, her, it undergo l'élision when they come before a vowel sound, turning into L apostrophe. Just like the definite articles le, which is the in English, and la, which is the feminine in English. And the same thing happens with the pronouns me, which is me in English, and te, which is you in English. They become m apostrophe and t apostrophe. So this l'élision happens if the word that comes before if the pronoun that comes before a word with a vowel sound, so for example, if it starts with a vowel, you drop the last letter on the pronoun, you put an apostrophe. So let's say, for example, l'écoute, you drop the L-E, you put L apostrophe E-C-O-U-T-E, l'écoute, and it becomes one word, one phrase, sorry. To see all of this in action, take a second look at the sentences below. Note that in the first one, the L apostrophe is an ilid, le, him / it, replacing ton stylo, your pen. And the second one is L apostrophe is an ilid of la, her / it, replacing la dame, the lady. Okay, so the first one that I'm doing is a masculine example, and the second one I'm doing is a feminine example, okay? So,
je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte, I'm borrowing it. Je l'emprunte. Je l'emprunte. Let's listen.
Je l'emprunte.
Je l'emprunte. Je l'emprunte. Je l'emprunte. Let's try that again. So, je l'emprunte translates to I'm borrowing it. Let's try that again. Je l'emprunte. Okay. The second example. So, je l'emprunte, to reinforce what I was saying before, normally, I shouldn't say normally, but if you write it without the elision, you would write J-E-J-I-L-E, the empreinte. And in this example, the le would be it. Je l'emprunte. Because empreinte starts with a E, you drop the E from the L-E, and it goes to L'-E-M-P-R-U-N-T-E. Je l'emprunte. That's basically what they were saying before. Elles l'aident à trouver son hôtel. Elles l'aident à trouver son hôtel. They are helping her to find her hotel. In this example, it is féminin, so it would be elles, elle et la aide. However, because l'élision has to occur, you would say elles. Instead of saying L-A, you would say L, drop the A from the la, and you put apostrophe A-I-D-E-N-T, à trouver son hôtel. So let's work on the pronunciation now. So elles l'aident à trouver son hôtel is they are helping her to find her hotel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel.
Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. Elle l'aide à trouver son hôtel. I think my pronunciation was spot on there. The other one, for example, mes amis m'attendent. Normally, it would be, so if you're saying your friends are waiting, for me, if you're writing it out without the elision, you would write mes, mes, amis, A-M-I-S, me, M-I, attendent. However, because attendre starts with a vowel A, you drop the E from the M-E, which would represent me, and it would be M apostrophe A-T-T-E-N-D-E-N-T. So m'attendre. So let's work on the pronunciation.
Mes amis m'attendent.
Mes amis m'attendent, which stands for my friends are waiting for me. Mes amis m'attendent. Good pronunciation, let's listen. Mes amis m'attendent. Mes amis m'attendent. My friends are waiting for me. Mes amis m'attendent. Je t'aime, which would be, okay, I love you. And I want to explain again because it's helping me register the learning in my brain. So, J-E, t'aime, I love you would be T-E for you, right? But because M starts with a vowel, you drop the E from the T, and it would be T apostrophe A-I-M. So, je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime, pronunciation now. Je t'aime. Je t'aime, I love you in English. Okay, listen. Je t'aime. Je t'aime. I think that sounds extremely French. Je t'aime. The thing about le, it. As you've seen in this lesson, le is used to replace masculine singular nouns and to mean him or it. However, that's not all that le can do. It can also be used as a neuter direct object pronoun. Let's explain what we mean by that. When you're referring to something abstract that doesn't have a gender, like an action or an idea, then you use the neuter, le. For example, take a look at these two sentences said by the same speaker. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. J'aime écouter des oiseaux. J'aime écouter les oiseaux, which means I like to listen to the birds. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. Let's listen to the pronunciation and then see if I was correct.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux. I wasn't correct with the pronunciation of oiseau. Let's listen again.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux. I like to listen to the birds. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. Good pronunciation, I think. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. J'aime écouter les oiseaux.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux. J'aime écouter les oiseaux.
J'aime écouter les oiseaux.
Okay, let me try it again. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. Much better. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. J'aime écouter les oiseaux. And the reason I'm saying much better, I explained this in my first video. In the app, you repeat the phrase and it registers if you're saying it correctly. Obviously, it could be a bit clunky at times. However, when I said it over the second time, every single word registered in the correct way. So, j'aime écouter les oiseaux. Perfect. Next sentence. Je le fais chaque jour. I do it every day. Je le fais chaque jour. Okay, I see now. Je le fais chaque jour.
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 Je le fais chaque jour. I do it every day. Je le fais chaque jour. Good pronunciation, let's listen. Je le fais chaque jour. So, to explain the what we just went through, in the second sentence above, le, it, is referring back to the action in the first sentence. So, écouter les oiseaux, to listen to the birds. Since écouter les oiseaux, to listen to the birds, is a verb phrase illustrating an action, not a noun, with a gender, we replace it with the neuter le. Notice how this is different from this sentence from above, where we are still replacing a noun with a gender. Let's repeat that again. In the second sentence, which is je le fais chaque jour, is referring back to the action in the first sentence, which was j'aime écouter les oiseaux, to listen to the birds. Since écouter les oiseaux, to listen to the birds, is a verb phrase illustrating an action, okay, not a noun with a gender, correct, we replace it with the neuter le. Notice how this is different from the sentence from above, where we are still placing a noun with a gender, okay? Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive.
Marie fait la lessive. Marie fait la lessive. Okay. Marie le fait. Marie l'a fait. Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait.
Marie l'a fait. Okay. Marie is doing it. Sorry. Marie fait la lessive. We came across this before, which is Marie is doing the laundry. And we have Marie l'a fait. Marie is doing it. So Marie is doing it refers to the Marie is doing the laundry in the first sentence. Let's take a look at another example of the neuter le. This time, the second sentence is a reply to the first. Ils sont en retard. They are late. Ils sont en retard.
Ils sont en retard.
Ils sont en retard. And the reason the T becomes pronounced in sont is because on starts with a vowel. En retard. I. Ils sont en retard. Okay.
Ils sont en retard.
Ils sont en retard. Ils sont en retard.
Ils sont en retard.
Ils sont en retard. I'll try it again. Ils sont en retard. Okay. Ils sont en retard. Which is they are late. So, ils sont en retard translates to they are late. Oui, je le sais.
Oui, je le sais.
Oui, je le sais is yes, I know. Oui, je le sais. Let's hear my pronunciation. Oui, je le sais. Okay. Here, the thing that the speaker knows is an abstract idea. Qu'ils sont en retard. That they are late. It doesn't have a gender, so we just use le to replace it. Okay. You could say oui, je sais, for yes, I know. Here, given that savoir, to know something, can stand by itself. Using the le, it just makes the sentence a tiny bit more formal and is a style choice. So in the previous sentence, we could have said oui, je sais. But again, they said oui, je le sais. And they're saying that oui, je le sais, using the le, it just makes the sentence a tiny bit more formal and a style choice. Okay, let's continue. This will take a bit of getting used to, definitely, especially since the neuter le can be used in French where a pronoun isn't needed in English. For now, just remember, if you're referring back to something that isn't a noun, then chances are you should use the neuter le before the verb, no matter what. We have already talked very briefly about word order with the direct object pronouns. You know that while the direct object noun comes after the verb, the direct object pronoun comes in front of the verb. For example, elle porte son sac à main. She is carrying her purse.
Elle porte son sac à main.
Elle porte son sac à main. Elle porte son sac à main. Which is, she is carrying her purse. Elle le porte, she is carrying it.
Elle le porte.
Elle le porte. Let's work on that again, it didn't register properly. Elle le porte. Still didn't register.
Elle le porte.
Elle le porte. Let's try. Elle le porte. Okay. Elle le porte is she is carrying it. And the it is referring to the purse from the first sentence. This is an easy enough rule to follow in simple sentences, but it can seem tricky when dealing with negatives or with more than one verb. So let's find out how that works. Positioning with negatives. You know that the usual process for making a sentence negative in French is to hug the conjugated verb with a conjunction like ne pas, not, or je, or ne jamais, never, like so. Elle ne porte pas son sac à main. She isn't carrying her purse. Elle ne porte pas son sac à main.
Elle ne porte pas son sac à main.
Elle ne porte pas. Okay. Elle ne porte pas son sac à main. She isn't carrying her purse. Let's listen to my pronunciation. Elle ne porte pas son sac à main.
Elle ne porte pas son sac à main.
I think that's close. Where I just said, elle ne porte pas son sac à main. But since direct object pronouns have to come right in front of the verb, they actually go inside the negative hug. So it should be, with the direct object pronoun, it would read, elle ne le porte pas. She isn't carrying it.
Elle ne le porte pas.
Okay, this seems fairly straightforward. Elle ne le porte pas. Let's listen. Elle ne le porte pas. So elle ne le porte pas translates to she isn't carrying it, which is a reference to the sac à main, which is a handbag referred to in the first sentence. In other words, direct object pronouns can't be separated from the verbs that they are acting on them. In other words, direct object pronouns can't be separated from the verbs that are acting on them. Check out some more examples below for practice. Like with the example sentences above, we've stuck to using negative versions of sentences that you've seen before in these lessons to keep things simpler. Marie ne fait jamais la lessive. Marie ne fait jamais la lessive. Marie ne fait jamais la lessive, which translates to Marie never does the laundry.
Marie ne fait jamais la lessive.
Okay, let's work on my pronunciation now. Marie ne fait jamais la lessive. Okay, registered properly. Marie ne fait jamais la lessive. Okay. Marie ne le fait jamais. Marie never does it. Marie ne la fait jamais. Marie ne la fait jamais.
Marie ne la fait jamais.
Marie ne la fait jamais. Marie ne la fait jamais, which translates to Marie never does it. Let's listen. Marie ne la fait jamais. Marie ne la fait jamais. Marie never does it. Il ne dit pas le mot. Il ne dit pas le mot, which translates to he doesn't say the words. Il ne dit pas le mot.
Il ne dit pas les mots.
Il ne dit pas les mots. Il ne dit pas les mots. Let's listen. Il ne dit pas les mots. Il ne dit pas les mots, which translates to he doesn't say the words. Next sentence. Il ne les dit pas. Il ne les dit pas.
Il ne les dit pas.
which translates to he doesn't say them, which again, I've mentioned before, is a reference to the previous sentence, okay? Il ne les dit pas. Il ne les dit pas. Okay? Je, je ne, je ne t'aime plus. Je ne t'aime plus. I don't love you anymore. Je ne t'aime plus.
Je ne t'aime plus.
Je ne t'aime plus. Je ne t'aime plus. I don't love you anymore. Je ne t'aime plus. Je ne t'aime plus.
Je ne t'aime plus.
Je ne t'aime plus. A bit more stress on the t'aime. Je ne t'aime plus. Je ne t'aime plus. Je ne t'aime plus. Good. Positioning with multiple verbs, positive or negative. You'll remember that when you have two verbs working together in a sentence in French, the first verb will be conjugated, i.e. changed, and the second will stay in its infinitive, i.e. unchanged form. Par exemple, elle va porter son sac à main. She is going to carry her purse. Is elle va porter son sac à main.
Elle va porter son sac à main.
Elle va porter son sac à main. Elle va porter son sac à main. She is going to carry her purse. Is elle va porter son sac à main. Elle va porter son sac à main. Elle va porter son sac à main. She is going to carry her purse. In sentences like these, the direct object pronoun will always come before the infinitive verb. That's because this is the verb that is actually acting on or affecting the pronoun. Take a look. Elle va le porter.
Elle va le porter.
Elle va le porter. She is going to carry it. Elle va le porter. Elle va le porter.
Elle va le porter.
Elle va le porter. Elle va le porter.
Elle va le porter.
Elle va le porter. Elle va le porter. She's going to carry it. It makes sense that the pronoun le, him, / it comes before porte to carry because she is carrying it. If we put le, him, / it before aller, to go, we would be saying that she is going it, which doesn't make sense. So elle va la porter. She's going to carry it. Okay. Woof. To help this sink in, go through the examples below. Once again, we've created them using sentences that you've already seen in this lesson. Okay, so this lesson, in my view, is a bit complicated. I think because there's a lot to consume. So definitely I'll have to do this again over. But yeah, learning a new language is like this because you have to make sure that you understand all the different nuances, all the different rules, if you really want to speak at a high level, which is my goal. So these are things I'll have to go over 2, 3, 4 times, you know. To help it sink in, so I'm going to go through these sentences. Je vais chercher les enfants. I'm going to look for the kids is je vais chercher les enfants.
Je vais chercher les enfants.
Je vais chercher les enfants. I'm going to look for the kids. Je vais chercher les enfants. We went through the sentence already, so some of them I wouldn't replay my recording because I know that my pronunciation is just good. Je vais les chercher.
Je vais les chercher.
Je vais les chercher. Je vais les chercher. You gotta get chercher. You gotta get really chercher with it. Je vais les chercher. I'm going to look for them. Je vais les chercher. Et voilà. This word I'm going to have a problem remembering. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. J'aime emprunter ton stylo.
J'aime emprunter ton stylo.
Emprunter, not emprunter. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. I like to borrow your pen. J'aime emprunter ton stylo.
J'aime emprunter ton stylo.
J'aime emprunter son stylo. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. Woo! J'aime emprunter ton stylo. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. I like to borrow your pen. I'll play this one over. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. Emprunter. Emprunter. J'aime l'emprunter.
J'aime l'emprunter.
J'aime l'emprunter. J'aime l'emprunter. I like to borrow it. J'aime l'emprunter. I'll play this one over as well. J'aime l'emprunter. J'aime l'emprunter. J'aime emprunter ton stylo. Emprunter. J'aime l'emprunter. Okay. I think I got it. On va vous admirer. On va vous admirer. On va vous admirer.
On va vous admirer.
On va vous admirer. Yeah, because admirer starts with a vowel. On va vous admirer, which translates to people are going to admire you. On va vous admirer. Good pronunciation, Philippe. On va vous admirer. On va vous admirer. People are going to admire you. Because the direct object pronoun is linked to the infinitive verb in these instances, making sentences like these negative is actually very easy. The negative construction will hug the conjugated verb as usual, and the direct object pronoun will come before the infinitive as usual. So, elle ne va pas porter son sac à main. Elle ne va pas porter son sac à main, which translates to she is not going to carry her purse.
Elle ne va pas porter son sac à main.
Elle ne va pas porter son sac à main, which translates to she is not going to carry her purse. Elle ne va pas porter son sac à main. Elle ne va pas porter son sac à main. Good pronunciation. Elle ne va pas porter son sac à main. Next one is elle ne va pas le porter. No, elle ne va pas le porter.
Elle ne va pas le porter.
Elle ne va pas le porter, which translates to she is not going to carry it. Elle ne va pas le porter. Here are the negative versions of the sentences from above for more practice. Je ne vais pas plus chercher les enfants. Je ne vais pas plus chercher les enfants, which translates to I am no longer going to look for the children. Je ne vais pas plus chercher les enfants.
Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants.
Why am I saying pas? Wow. Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants. Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants. Oh, okay, there's no pas here. Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants. I am no longer going to look for the children. Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants.
Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants.
Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants. I'll say it again. Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants. Je ne vais plus chercher les enfants. Next sentence. Je ne vais plus les chercher.
Je ne vais plus les chercher.
Je ne vais plus les chercher. Je ne vais plus les chercher. Okay, not registering properly. I'll do it again. Je ne vais plus les chercher. Je ne vais plus les chercher. Je ne vais plus les chercher, which translates to I'm no longer going to look for them, which is a reference to the les enfants in the previous sentence. Je ne vais plus les chercher. Je ne vais plus les chercher, which translates to again I am no longer going to look for them. Je n'aime pas emprunte ton stylo. Emprunter. Je n'aime pas emprunter ton stylo.
Je n'aime pas emprunter ton stylo.
Emprunter. Why am I saying emprunter? Je n'aime pas emprunter. Emprunter. I need to remember that word. Emprunter. Which translates to I don't like to borrow your pen. Je n'aime pas emprunter ton stylo. Okay. Je n'aime pas emprunter ton stylo. Je n'aime pas l'emprunter.
Je n'aime pas l'emprunter.
Je n'aime pas l'emprunter, which translates to I don't like to borrow it. Je n'aime pas l'emprunter. Je n'aime pas l'emprunter. Je n'aime pas l'emprunter. Okay. Next sentence. On ne va jamais vous admirer. On ne va jamais vous admirer. On ne va jamais vous admirer, which translates to people are never going to admire you. On ne va jamais vous admirer. On ne va jamais vous admirer. I could say that better than that.
On ne va jamais vous admirer.
Yeah, I can say that better than that. On ne va jamais vous admirer. I'll try it one more time. On ne va jamais vous admirer. On ne va jamais vous admirer. On ne va jamais vous admirer.
On ne va jamais vous admirer.
Okay. Direct object pronouns versus emphatic pronouns. It can be tempting for native English speakers to use emphatic pronouns like moi, me, toi, you, lui, him, slash, it, etc. instead of using direct object pronouns like me, me, te, you, le, him, slash, it in French because they have the same translations in English. So it is important to keep in mind that these pronouns aren't interchangeable in French. For example, j'aime toi is not an alternative for je t'aime, I love you. Instead, it's just incorrect. If you wanted to emphasize who you love, that is, if you wanted to say I love you as opposed to someone else, then you just add an emphatic pronoun as well. So je t'aime toi. Okay, so you je t'aime toi. Okay.
Je t'aime, toi.
Je t'aime toi. Okay. Je t'aime toi. No, I didn't pronounce that properly because it came across as toi. Je t'aime toi.
Je t'aime, toi.
Okay. Je t'aime toi. A bit soft on the toi because I said trois. Je t'aime toi. Not so throaty. Let's listen to my pronunciation. Je t'aime toi. Je t'aime toi. Okay. As you can see, though, the direct object pronoun still needs to be present. Action replay. In general, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. The person or thing that directly receives the action in the sentence is the direct object. Le, it, can be used as a neuter direct object pronoun. It replaces abstract actions or ideas. Direct object pronouns come directly before the verb that affects them. When there's a negative construction with just one verb, this means that the pronoun will go inside the negative hug. When there's more than one verb, this means that the pronoun will come before the infinitive. Continue reading. Phew, that was a bit tricky. It's time to unwind now. Let's move to the culture lesson where we take a look at the stress out of tipping at a restaurant in France. So we're going on to talk about the culture part, but before I talk about that, this lesson was a bit complicated, and there are going to be moments when you come across lessons like this and it's a bit frustrating, and because in English you're able to express yourself in a way, in a very colorful and a very effective and a very clear way, and when you're learning a new language it's as if you're a child. So it's frustrating when you're trying to learn a new language and you come across complicated lessons like this, but just be consistent. Just keep going and you'll get there. So let's do the culture lesson. Culture, tipping at restaurants in France. Tipping is one of those confusing customs that vary all over the world, and it can actually cause travelers a fair bit of stress when they're not sure how things are supposed to work. So to save you from agonizing over whether or not you should tip in France, how much you should leave, if you do, we're going to take you through the social rules. In countries like in the United States, servers are often expected to make a living wage through their tips, which is why tipping is so important. In France, however, the system is different. French service personnel earn a living wage outright, plus benefits, so they don't need tips to survive. In addition, it's important to note that the prices that you pay when you sit down at the restaurant or cafe in France will already include a 15% service fee. This means that paying more on top of that is really going above and beyond. However, that's not to say that no one tips in France. Instead, tipping is used as a show of gratitude. If you've enjoyed your meal and you feel that the service was great, then it would be normal to leave a 5 or 10% tip. On the other hand, if you were less than impressed or underwhelmed by your experience, then you wouldn't leave a tip at all. And there's, of course, one way to avoid the question of tipping entirely. Some establishments, such as cafes, will give you the option of getting your order to go, in which case a tip is not expected, because you will order at the counter and won't be waited on. So you also won't be charged the service fee. So your purchase will be cheaper too. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson, right on the hour mark. And I have to go through my flashcards, listening, writing, and speaking for this very complicated lesson. So another day done, another vlog done.